Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for being a part of this discussion tonight. So I want to, first of all, welcome you to the information session for the Bahamas Government Scholarship Cycle 2024-2025, and it is being hosted by the Scholarships and Education Loan Division, which is headed by our mighty little warrior, DPS Shalene Burrows. But before we move any further, I want us to anchor our discussions tonight in the way we always do, in a word of prayer. So can you stand with me, please? Let us pray. Father, in Jesus' name, we're ever so grateful, so thankful for the gift of life, for health, for strength, for unmerited favor. We thank you for these discussions and these deliberations. We thank you for our government and the people of our country who have made a conscious decision to isolate public funds to educate our people, understanding that through education we are uplifted, we are liberated, and we are empowered for the next generation. I pray, Almighty God, that as we have information being shared, that you would open up the understanding of the listeners, that it would be instructive to them, that it would assist them in ensuring that they have the best possible chance at success in their application. We want to pray by extension for the Ministry of Education and the work of the ministry led by Minister Glennis Hannah Martin. We pray that you would forever cover her knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the fortitude for the assignment that you've given her. Bless these proceedings. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you all so very much. Now I'm going to ask you to do something for me, please, only for the purpose of those on Zoom and also to make it a little easier for our presenters who will talk from here. Can those of you at my far left fill this section, if that's okay? And if you come quickly, your scholarship may be looked at more favorably. If you're there by 5, 4, 3, okay, someone just ain't gone to college just now. Someone just missed. Man, why y'all moving slow, man? Come on. Look at the 25-year-old in the jeans dress moving faster than you are. Thank you all so very much. Thank you all so very much for coming. My name is Robin Lines, and I act as the Chief Custodian in the Scholarship and Education Loan Division. I will introduce the person who will introduce the others. But first and foremost, I want to recognize what, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this with fear of contradiction, one of the best ministers of education, the best in my lifetime that this country has ever seen, Minister Glennis Hannah Martin. And she's not the best because she's intelligent, that she's forthright, that she's anchored in integrity. She's not the best for any of those reasons. To me, she's the best because she goes people first, heart first, principle first. And it is her mission to ensure that we not only do it, but we do it right. So can we give her one more round of applause then? Thank you. I also want to, y'all still standing? That's special. You can be seated. So if I didn't say sit, you wouldn't have? Oh, now listen, man. Y'all, I'm a crybaby, so don't trigger me, okay? That was so sweet. Karen, wasn't that sweet? I love the shades, boo. I want to also say hello to all of our counselors, parents, students, and future applicants that are joining us via Zoom. So I will say to you tonight, because you can't see them, it doesn't mean that they can't see you. So watch where you put your fingers, what you're picking, and if you fall asleep, do it with your mouth closed. Okay? All right. So next order of business, I want to also recognize in her absence the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education in the person of Lorraine Simonet and Brister. I believe she's on her way. If she does not make it, it's not because she didn't want to be here. And so please give her a round of applause. Thank you. And I will leave the introductions of the officers, etc., for when DPS Burrows comes. And so without further ado, I want you to help me welcome someone who I can put a plate on her head and she will be my table. That's how short she is, but she is so powerful. But I'll be honest, and they always tell me I have no filter. I'll say it. She has made me lazier than I've ever been, because I do not have to read as much, because every question, the technicalities, the nuances, the this, the that, she has all of the answers. She's been doing this for such a long time, and she is excellent in what she does, and she has the division running like a fine oiled machine. So please help me welcome my boss, DPS. Where are you? Oh, I can't see. There she is, DPS Shalene Burrows. Give her a round of applause for me, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see all of you here this evening. Let me say that one of the mandates of the Scholarship and Educational Loan Division is to ensure that qualified Bahamians are connected with transformative scholarship opportunities and resources. So this evening, you will learn all about the scholarships that are offered by the Bahamas government. And so we are pressed for time, so we'll get right into the presentation. Let's look at who can apply or who should apply for scholarships. All Bahamians who meet the scholarship criteria can apply. Once you hold a Bahamian passport, you are eligible to apply, and you will hear this all through the presentation tonight. If you are a 2024 student graduating from a Bahamian high school, you are also eligible to apply. Now, if you are not graduating this year and you are 50 years old or under, you can apply. If you are a teacher or a nurse and you want to retool or sharpen your skills and apply for specialty programs, you are also eligible to apply if you are 55 years or under. Now, there are 10 scholarship opportunities offered by the Bahamas government, and let's take a look at them. 8 of them are managed by the Scholarship and Educational Loan Division. First, we have the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship and the National Merit Scholarship. They are our 2 top awards. Then we have the National Academic Scholarship, and the majority of students who apply for scholarships will receive the National Tuition Assistance. We also have the National Technical Scholarship, which is very much undersubscribed, and so I would admonish all of you who qualify for this scholarship to apply. Then we have the Public School Scholarship Program, as well as the Private, Independent, and Transfer-In Scholarship. Persons who receive this scholarship will get the National Tuition Assistance. And I just want to stop here to say that if you are applying for one of the schools under the agreement, a memorandum of understanding between an institution and the Bahamas government, you must apply to the institution as well as the Scholarship and Educational Loan Division Scholarship Portal. Then we have the Juras Research Scholarship Center and Scholarship, and this too is very much undersubscribed. The 8th scholarship is the Organization of American States Government of the Bahamas Scholarship. And there are 2 scholarships that are not managed by the Scholarship Division. However, we make the payments for them, and that is the University of the West Indies Scholarship, which is managed by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and then the Student Athlete Track and Field Grant, which is managed by the Bahamas Parents Association of track and field athlete. And so now we will hear from about the two top awards by Mrs. Darrell Newbold Barnett, who is the ABM, which is the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship and the National Merit Scholarship Coordinator. And she is also the 2023 Officer of the Year for the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training. Let's welcome her as she comes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Barnett, and I'll be speaking to you about the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship this evening. And so I want to say that the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship is the most prestigious scholarship and also the most competitive scholarship that we offer at the Scholarship and Educational Loan Division. And that is because there is only one award that is granted every year. With the exception of 2019, there were 2 awardees, but that is the exception and not the norm. So for applicants to qualify for the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship, they must be enrolled in a Bahamian high school in 12th grade or in the final year of a high school extension program. An example of a high school extension program is the United World College. Students must have a minimum cumulative GPA of 3.7. They must have a minimum SAT score of 1220 or a minimum ACT score of 25. They must have 8 BGCSEs with 8 passes, inclusive of mathematics and English language. And please note that IGCSEs and IBs are not accepted in the place of the BGCSEs. So sorry. They must be exceptionally well-rounded, and they must be accepted to a prestigious and internationally accredited institution. Applicants pursuing the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship may pursue any course of study. This award is valued at $35,000 per year for up to 4 years. ABM applicants must attend an interview with the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship Committee. They must provide an electronic and physical portfolio for the committee's review. Now, for those students who are applying, please note that in that physical portfolio or the electronic, we ask that you include graduation photos or professional student photos that we can use for PR purposes. All applicants must meet all of the criteria for the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship, with the exception of the BGCSE requirement by the closure of the application. And I do want to add that for all of our scholarships that require the BGCSE results, we do wait for those results. Those results normally come in at the end of summer. The examination and assessment unit will send those results directly to us. So for our applicants, you don't need to send us your certificates if you're taking BGCSEs in June of this year. We will get those results from the examination and the assessment unit, and then we will be able to apply those results to your applications. Right. Next, we have the All Bahamas Merit Runner-Up Scholarship recipient. On the screen, we have Jada Francis. She was the recipient for 2023, and this scholarship is valued at $25,000 per year for up to 4 years. And so the runner-up is the student who receives the second highest score during the selection process of the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship selection. Next, we move right on to the National Merit Scholarship. To qualify for the National Merit Scholarship, applicants must have a minimum cumulative GPA of 3.5. They must have, again, that SAT score, the minimum score of 1220, or a minimum ACT score of 25. They must have 7 BGCSEs with 8 passes, accepted to a prestigious and internationally accredited university. They may pursue any course of study. This award is valued at $15,000 to $20,000 per year for up to 4 years. And I do want to note here that all of those applicants that meet the requirements for the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship, and they don't receive the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship or the runner-up scholarship, then they would normally receive $20,000 as a practice for the past few years. But those students who meet this requirement of the 3.5 with the 7 BGCSE passes with A's would receive the $15,000 per year. And so for the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship and National Merit Scholarships, students may pursue any course of study. But for the remainder of the scholarships you will hear about this evening, students are subject to the national priority areas. And so the national priority areas list, we have a list available on our website. This is the list here. And on that list are areas that would have been considered by governmental agencies, non-governmental agencies, and non-profit organizations. And these are a list of areas in our country where we're experiencing employment gaps. The way that the Ministry of Education seek to fill these employment gaps is by offering scholarships in these areas. And so let's just take a look at some of the subsections. I won't go into too much detail. Again, you can view this on our website. So just starting with the 11 subsections of the academic list, we have aviation, social sciences and humanities, engineering and construction, business studies, education, natural sciences, tourism and hospitality, art, allied health and allied healthcare, technology and land development and real estate. Now, I do want to pause here, and I want to say that engineering and the technological areas are typically known as technical areas. But for the purposes of our scholarship, they're categorized as academic areas. So students must have that 3.0 GPA if they're applying for the areas of engineering and the area of the technical areas for computer science in those areas. And I also want to state that for some of these areas on the national priority areas list, they are only approved for local studies. So for students who are looking to study the areas of, let's say, for example, the first degree in education, and even some specializations like the early childhood education, the first degree in nursing, accounting, business management, business administration, areas like tourism and hospitality, those areas are only awarded or only approved for local studies. And so if your high schooler is looking for a scholarship, chances are, if that is on the application, they will not get the scholarship. And so we ask that applicants be a little flexible and that they look on the national priority areas list for another area that may coincide with what they want to do that is approved for international studies. All right, and moving right on to the technical list of the national priority areas. So we have the technological studies, and we have the technical areas, all right? We do offer at the division certifications, and for those persons who are pursuing certifications, those programs must be a minimum of 6 months. We also offer diploma and associate degree programs, bachelor degree programs, master's degree programs, and also doctoral degrees. Please be advised that students studying at the University of the Bahamas or the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute that qualify for free tuition grants should apply at those respective institutions. And that is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now bring on my colleague, Ms. Storr, who will talk to you about the National Academic, the National Tuition Assistance, and the National Technical Scholarships.
Before Ms. Storr comes, I want to ask the Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training to come and bring remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out with the parents, with the students, and loved ones in support of these young people. We are very proud that this facility is able to enable a lot of young people, very talented young Bahamian young men and women, to go off to university and so on. You would have heard from the various types of scholarships and the specifics of those scholarships. I'm sure you'll hear from everyone here. One of the things is, because I hear from a lot of people, upload the official transcript, please. A lot of people are not doing that as students, and then it's a disqualifying factor, at least for the time being. And time goes, it becomes less viable for a student to get into university. Upload the official transcript. Read the instructions carefully and respond appropriately. Go through with a fine-tooth comb, because you don't want the scholarship committee to go through it and say, well, not this, not that, not whatever. I don't know if they'll be that technical, but I'm just advising, go to the letter of the law in the application. Look at the areas of priority and see how your child or how the student, how you are able to fit into the areas of priority that are listed on that site. The only regret I have is that while this regime is helping so many young people, we need to help a lot more, and we should be able to help many more and more in terms of financial terms. And hopefully that we will get to the space where we can create a more broad-based, heftier support of young people as they go off to university. Right now, it's a partnership between the student, the ministry, and parents, and whoever chips in. When my father went to university a long time ago, he had the help. Oh, P.S., you're there. The permanent secretary is here. She slipped in. The family, everybody chipped in, and he was able to do what he had to do. But what we know is that our young people are incredibly talented. It is mind-boggling. I just came from the baseball games there at the sports center, and not only you have students that are just so multiply talented in sports, they're good in music, and they're academic, and I'm saying, Lord, these children are incredible. And this is what we are seeing with our young people in this country. And sometimes, you don't, you may feel that while you're in formal instruction through the schools, you might not have met the mark. You go and see how you can make up the gap and get back in the game for the young people who want to go off to university. So this is a game changer for young people. They go off, they qualify, they super qualify, and they super qualify, PhDs, masters, whatever it is. I mean, mind-boggling. I just hope everyone comes back home. These scholarships are not bonded scholarships. And so a lot of people work for a while in, as they say, in foreign, and then hopefully they'll come back at some point. But I want to wish all the young people here who are going to be vying for scholarships all the best. We want to give you wings. We want you to do well. I want to thank the scholarship division, the scholarship committee, our chairman, Senator Robin Lyons, who spoke so well about me, and I didn't, it wasn't even at a high cost. She gave me a discount on that. Thank you so much. But this is a very arduous process. Some might, I really didn't want to refer to this, but just in case, you might have heard some loud noises about some things, about the scholarship unit and not paying people scholarship and not paying, etc. I don't want to go into the detail of it because I don't listen to the noise in the market. These people work very hard. They're very meticulous. And so those narratives are inaccurate. And in any event, if any parent experiences a challenge, a concern, call them, and they will do what needs to be done to alleviate and allay your concerns, because we have the same objective that you have. It's not just a bureaucratic place called the Scholarships Division. It's a facilitating space for the young people of this nation. So again, I thank you. I may not be able to stay for the entire thing, but I'll stay as long as I can. Thank you all, and to all the young people, I wish you the very, very best. I remember you, young lady. You. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Martin, for your remarks and your continued support. We're going to move right into to more scholarship opportunities here at the Scholarship Education Loan Division, starting with the National Academic Scholarship. To receive this award, The applicant must be a Bahamian citizen, must have a minimum cumulative GPA of a 3.0, must have 5 BGCSE A passes, and should be accepted to an internationally accredited university, and should also be exceptionally well-rounded. The student or applicant must be pursuing a course of study that meets the national priority areas. This award is valued at $10,000 per year for up to 4 years. Now, the next award is the National Tuition Assistance Scholarship. And this is our most popular scholarship here at Scholarship Education Loan Division. And it is responsible for sending hundreds of applicants off to pursue a tertiary level education. Now, the National Tuition Assistance was formerly known as the National Grant. However, in 2018, the National Grant was revamped, reorganized, and now we have an even better product, the National Tuition Assistance. To achieve this award, the applicant must be a Bahamian citizen, must be pursuing or intend to pursue undergraduate, professional, technical, or a graduate degree, must have a minimum cumulative GPA of a 3.0, and must also possess 5 BGCSE with C passes or above. Now, this does not apply, the BGCS requirement does not apply to persons who are currently enrolled in a tertiary level institution or persons who are not in high school. You must be accepted to an internationally and locally accredited university, and you must be pursuing a course of study that meets the national priority area. This award is valued at $7,500 per year for international studies, $4,000 for online and local institutions up to 4 years. And the final scholarship that I will be talking to you about is the National Technical Scholarship. Now, the National Tuition is our most popular scholarship. However, the National Technical Scholarship, like DPS Boris would have stated earlier, is our most unsubscribed to. And this is surprising because more than 50% of all high school students could qualify for this award. To receive this award, the applicant must be a Bahamian citizen, must have a minimum cumulative GPA of a 2.50 for a certificate program or associate degree. However, if you are pursuing a bachelor's degree, you will be required to have a 3.0 GPA. And this award requires no BGCSE passes. You must be accepted to an internationally or locally accredited university, and you must be pursuing a course of study that meets the national priority area. This award is valued at $7,500 per year for international studies, $4,000 for local studies, and $2,000 for BTVI up to 4 years. And might I remind you, technical areas are not only in high demand in our country, but worldwide. So please go to our website, scholarshipbahamas.com, have a look at technical areas and see if anything interests you, and by all means, apply. I now invite Dr. Sophia Roll, who is coming to talk to you about even more scholarship opportunities through the Public School Scholars Program. Welcome, Dr. Roll.
Thank you, Ms. Dorr. Good evening, everyone. Just want to acknowledge the minister as well as the chair. Both of you missed a good time Saturday. But anyway, we're here to talk about scholarships. So I'm going to be talking, can you go right? Yes. The Public School Scholars Program. Now, we heard that the NTA was the most popular program. This, by far, in my humble opinion, is the most popular program among public school students. And that is because the award amount is more than all of the other scholarships other than the top two. So this one is specific to public schools in and throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Public Schools Scholarship Program, commonly referred to as PSSP, seeks to leverage the existing Ministry of Education's technical and vocational trainings budget by partnering with international colleges and universities in the Caribbean, the United States, Canada. We don't have any agreements in place right now in Europe, but we had in the past, to increase financial capacity for more Bahamians who successfully graduate public high schools. And I just want to stick a pin and say that we have currently 34 of these agreements in place. You may have only heard about 2 or 3 colleges and universities who have really been beaten the pavement, but we have 34 agreements in place. Some of them offer full rides. I want you to keep that in the back of your mind because many of them don't have any students registering or enrolling in those programs, and we have those agreements in place. The criteria for the PSSP, and we've heard this before, and I will say it again, and we said this a couple nights ago, particularly for those in our family islands, you must be a Bahamian. There's some advantage for that. Must be a Bahamian, have been accepted to at least one PSSP institution, meaning of the 34 that we are engaged with in a memorandum of understanding, you have to have been accepted to at least one. You can do 2, you can do 3. We will take your top institution. Be a first-generation college student. We give preference to that. Some of you have not had the opportunity, your parents, to go off to college or universities. So if you meet the criteria and you are first gen, obviously your application goes to the top of the pile. Demonstrated leadership skills. Now, you've been in school, some of you, 6, 7 years, whatever, and you've done nothing but attended classes. Well, we're looking also for those who would have been prefects, civic leaders, etc. So we are looking at those as part of the criteria. Be enrolled in a public senior high school for a minimum of 1 year up until the time of graduation. And this is very important because our private school students, because of the amount of the award for PSSP, like to slip on over to the public schools in the last semester. You have to be there for at least a year. Give the public schools something, right? Apply for and accept the PSSP award within the year you graduate from school. So those of you who are graduating in May or April, or what is it? I forgot. It's been a little while. April? May? June? Oh, June. This is the year that you want to apply. Okay, we've had some applicants who graduated last year and so on. You now have to go to the NTA. Okay, so if you're in school, you're in the 12th grade, you're about to graduate, this is for you. Have a GPA of 3.0 or higher for academic students and 2.5 for the technical and vocational students. And my colleague just spoke of that very, very undersubscribed scholarship, the technical one. Those of you who cannot make or did not make the 3-point GPA, there is an opportunity. We don't want to leave any child behind. Look for a technical subject. We are in a technological environment now where we need, even the plumber requires reading of some computer software system. So don't look sideways at technical programs, okay? You can still get one. But for the academic, 3-point is a must. We're not giving away scholarships. As much as we want to assist you, we still are looking for the scholar in scholarship. Have an SAT score of a minimum of 850 and an ACT score of at least 19. So we've reduced the SATs because right now in the United States in particular, many of the schools are test optional, SAT optional. So we've reduced it to 850. For our purposes, you still need to demonstrate that you have the ability to pass a standardized test, because that's the mode or modality of testing in many of the colleges and universities, right? So it's 850 and the ACT is 19. And the ACT is a test that really measures STEM students. So if you're very, very good in the STEM subjects, then your ACT scores become very, very important to colleges and universities. Have sat or prepared to sit a minimum of 5 BGCSEs with C or above. C or above, okay? Now, one of the things we, and I think over the years, as my role here is a consultant, so that means I consult, I give advice where I think people want to hear it. So one of the things that we probably are going to put in place at some point is the C and above, one of them should be a math and English, or one should be in a subject area that you're intending on studying in university. Just makes sense. But for now, it's 5 BGCSEs with C or better. Be able to financially commit to the balance of expenses after college, university, and PSSP contribution. Again, the 34 agreements that we have in place, some of them leave you absolutely nothing to pay within the year. Some of them have a very, very high balance. So one of the things we do want to remind you of when you are selecting the school, the college or the university that you want to attend, make sure that you can pay the balance. 34, remember, 34 of them. Quite a bit of them are free. Be able to complete and pay for all visa requirements and fees. I don't know if any of you have applied for a visa recently. It's an expensive process. So it's part of when you are deciding on, can I afford to go away? All of these costs have to be taken care of. And the visa, I think, is something like $450 or $250. It's a lot. Okay? So make sure you can do that. Be pursuing one of the outlined careers of national priority. This is where we get the most challenge from, because some of you want to, you know, we said nursing is local, and yet on the application you have nursing as your major that you want to pursue. No one said you can't do it, but you have to support the University of the Bahamas in that regard. Okay? And on the website, there are 7 steps. We've reduced this from, I think it was 10 or 12. We've reduced it to 7. And put the glass in. So they're there. Okay, I'm not going to go through them because they're on the website. Thank you. But of course, there are some required documents, and one of my colleagues will talk to you about the required documents. The documents are the same regardless to any of the scholarships that you are pursuing. You still have to have the passport, et cetera, et cetera. Those are there. Okay? Next. And these are the colleges and university partners that we have. Very, very notable colleges and universities. My alma mater is not on there, but then that's another story. But there are many on there, and many of them have given significant amounts to public school students, significant amounts. And the ministry has graciously matched, in some instances, a lot of the scholarships. And so you want to take a close look. If you have questions about a particular college or university, that is what we are there for, to help you.
And the young lady who is coming up behind me is the counselor, the resident counselor, and she fields a lot of those questions about where you should be going because you want to study X or Y. And so here they are, and these are some to continue. All right, many of them we have just recently renewed agreements. We've revised the agreements with them because we have actually visited some of these campuses, and just to make sure that where we are sending our students is where we want them to be. We can't send them in a condition less than what they are living in presently. So we've made it a point of visiting a number of these schools to see where your children will be living for the next 4 years. So trust us when we tell you, go here or go there. And this is the value. When we said that this is popular, it's because of the value of the scholarships for PSSP. Some have been able to, and I suppose because that's what all they were able to negotiate, $10,000, $12,000. We have about 5 institutions that offer about $15,000. That's a lot of money. The minister spoke about when she was younger going off to school. I like to say that when I was going, we had to share a scholarship, me and my twin. Share. No one gave us this kind of money. Okay? So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But it's based on what the agreement is. So don't come telling me, I want to go to a school where it's only 10,000, but I want 15. It's what the university was able to negotiate with the ministry. Okay? So here they are. This young man, we like to highlight from time to time the students, our success stories. We have a lot of success stories in the public schools. This young man, Kevin Brown, very Bahamian name. Mr. Brown was 23 when he started the University of the Ozarks. He was studying marketing at the time. He is now a graduate student at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, pursuing a master's degree. And if you get to talking with him, very humble young man, come from humble beginnings, grew up in one of our urban centers. I don't like to say inner city. I like to say urban centers. And here he is now pursuing a master's degree. You can see yourself in him, okay? And in all of us, actually, who would have benefited some way or somehow from scholarships, all right? So Kevin Brown is one of our shining stars at the University of Missouri in St. Louis. Okay, so I spoke to you, I mentioned her name earlier. I mentioned this young lady, Lynette Rose. I'm sure some of you know her name. Show of hands who have heard of Lynette Rose. I know it. She works closely with me in public schools scholarship program as the resident counselor. And so she's going to talk to you now about the private, independent, and transfer agreements that we have in place. Thank you very much for listening. Please, give us, right there.
Good night. I'm so happy because Doc called me young. I pay my respects to the minister and, of course, my chairman and my PS. Good night. We're going to start with the private independent transfer agreements. Private school students, Dr. Rose spoke about the schools that the PSSP has. We have the same schools for you all. However, the difference is that your agreement is a little smaller. It's about 7.5, the national tuition assistance. And it depends, it's limited, and it depends on the school that you want to go to. So if you have any questions, please contact us at the Ministry of Education, and we sure will lend you a hand. Okay? But if you look, it's the same schools. If you paid attention to the PSSP, you still have Baton Cookman, Central State, Coast Mountain, all the way in Vancouver, Canada. We have the College of St. Ben St. John's, Colorado State, Drake University, Fairmont Fox Valley Technical College, which has a lot of engineering programs. We have Georgia State University, and the good thing about Georgia State University, it also is connected to Georgia State Perimeter for the technical side, and then they'll directly push you to Georgia State. Then we have Hastings, Hollins, Illinois College Lane, Lipscomb, Messiah, Middle Tennessee State University for those of you who want to be pilots. Then we have Monroe College all the way in New York. We have Philander Smith, St. Leo University, Spring Hill College all the way in Alabama. We have the State University of New York, which is when my colleague Ms. Minnie Smith comes to talk. It's in a part of New York that we call the Finger Lakes. Then we have Talladega, Tennessee State University, also a good university for those who want to be pilots. And the thing that I like about Tennessee State is they have the academic side and the technical side for a good price. Then we have the University of Central Oklahoma, University of the Ozarks, and of course the University of Missouri St. Louis. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can contact any one of us at the Ministry of Education, and we'll sure give you some information. Next on the list, we have the OAS, Organization of the American States, otherwise known as the OAS, Government of the Bahamas Scholarship Program. Like my colleagues before me spoke, Mrs. Starr spoke about the technical scholarship. Dr. Roll also spoke to it. This is one of the scholarships that's undersubscribed with the Ministry of Education. To qualify for the scholarship, you must be a Bahamian citizen. Applicant must be pursuing or intend to pursue undergraduate, professional, technical, or graduate degrees, a minimum cumulative of 3 points, that is 5 BGCSE C passes. Applicants must apply and be accepted to an OAS participating partner institution, must pursue a course of study that meets the participating school's program offering. Applicants are encouraged to apply for admission to a participating partner institution to be granted admission and selection for the scholarship. The OAS has negotiated tuition waivers, discounts from 20% to 100% for participating partner institutions. This award is valued at $7,500. However, and this is the important part, for 4 years, but the next part is very important. You get a $1,000 grant, and you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can tell mommy you're buying books, but you can buy a phone. Okay? Okay. Scholarship opportunities for citizens of the Bahamas. You must pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree in the United States or Canada. Generous offerings among participating institutions. The most important part again, this application actually is twofold. You must fill out the application through the Ministry of Education, Bahamas, our website. This year the deadline is April 11th, 2024. And then you have to fill out the application for OAS also for this. And the deadline for that is the day after, April 12th, 2024. It's been my pleasure. Now I'm going to call Mrs. Smith. Oh, sorry. I don't have my glasses. Please excuse me. The participating schools are Midwestern State University, Colorado State, which we saw under PIT, GOB, and the private schools under PSSP. So you can go through any one of those, plus you can also apply through all of the other scholarships with the Ministry of Education. The New School, the University of Texas at El Paso, the University of Tennessee, Jackson State University, New York Institute of Technology, Stillman College, Florida National University, Anna G. Mendez University, and lastly, Western University, all the way in Canada. I think that's me. Now I'm going to welcome my colleague, Mrs. I have to get the name right because she told me to call all the names. Mrs. Minnie Smith. Yeah, be welcome to the mic, please.
A very, very pleasant good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Lynette. Thank you. Respect to our Honorable Minister, our Permanent Secretary, our Chairman. Our next scholarship opportunity is the Juras Center Scholarship. The center is the study of archaeology, biology, geology, that's a lot of ologies, and marine science. It is located on our very own San Salvador. Participating, partnering universities would use this research center and in return provide scholarships for Bahamian students. How does one apply for the scholarship? One must be a Bahamian citizen. Applicants must be pursuing or intend to pursue a bachelor's or master's degree. A minimum cumulative GPA of 3 points, 5 BGCSEs, CPASs, or above. Accepted to a participating college or university. Must pursue a course of study that meets the national priority areas. And by the way, students, that is our buzzword. Participating colleges and universities will offer full or partial tuition scholarships, and the Ministry of Education will pay room and board. It's kind of fine for me too, Lynette. This award is valued at $10,000 per year for up to 4 years. We also have here, again, your chosen major must reflect on the priority list. 3 participating colleges and universities will offer full or partial tuition scholarships, and the Ministry of Education will pay room and board. I wish to draw your attention that the Juras Scholarship, however, only have 1 or 2 scholarships available at a time for each participating institution. So let's focus on the Juras participating partner institutions. For example, and also we will focus on their availability. You will notice that the numbers are next to the name of the school, and that number indicates the availability. And what I mean by that, for example, let's take, for instance, the first one, Balmain. Balmain College, their agreement is 1 scholarship is available this year. That means 1 space for fall semester is available at Balmain. So if a student goes, and I'll break it down for you, if a student goes to Balmain this year, then the scholarship will not become available until that student graduates. Let's take a look at Wittenberg. Wittenberg has 2 partial scholarships this year, and that means Wittenberg will cover 50% of the tuition, and the Bahamas government will provide, again, $10,000 for room and board. Sounds good, eh? Yes, that's pretty good. Let's take a look at Cornell College. However, this indicates 0, and so the matter is no scholarship is available at this time. Also, students, when applying, you are not limited, and I need you to get this clear. You are not limited to applying for, you are not limited, and that is applying for the Juras Scholarship. And that simply means the National Tuition Assistant Award, NTA, which you will also be hearing about, is the default scholarship. And we encourage the NTA in your scholarship selection tab. Moving right along, so please feel free to apply for other scholarships that are available, and that's all I'm saying. And so, student, as I told you before, The priority list is the buzzword. And I'm holding up here our priority list, and this will be given to you before you leave this evening. And I also would like to say this is on our website at scholarships, the S in the middle, Bahamas.com. And believe it or not, that ends my Juras presentation. Short and sweet, hey? Yes, it was. Right now, I'm going to welcome our IT personnel, Mrs. Joy Hanner, and she will take you through the application process. Mrs. Hanner?
Good evening, everyone. I'll have to sit at the laptop. How many of you have applied already, have gone on and applied already? No, nobody. Our website is scholarshipsbahamas.com. Yeah, go down. Go, next slide. But our website is on scholarshipsbahamas.com, and we are going to remind you that you go back. Go online for me, please. You need to see this. You have to register first, and then you log in to apply. And we need you to check. Go ahead, Donald. I have to sit down. Let's start on it. So you would register first. You go on the site and you'll register first. Thanks, Banner. That's it. Okay, you would register, and when you register, it's going to ask you for your unique email address. It asks you for your NIB number, and it asks you for your first name, your last name, and you have to tick that you're not a robot. After you register, it gives you an indication that you have been registered. Can you get to the site? Okay, it's not allowing us to get to the site. But once you register, you then go back to the site and you log in. We have 9 tabs, right? Leave it right there, Barnett. You'll have 9 tabs to work with. The profile, your eligibility, your scholarship selection, the education information, your school details, grades, parent-guardian information, references, and acknowledgement. You have 9 tabs to work through. We all know working online, mandatory question. How is the mandatory question indicated? A red asterisk. So you have to complete all of those questions that are mandatory. For those of you who may not need the BGCSEs, anybody who's currently in college, anybody who is not taking BGCSE, those of you who have been out of school before 2024, the BGCSEs questions are mandatory. If you don't have any or you don't need to put any there, what should you put in those slots? 0. How many A's, how many B's, how many C's? If it does not apply to you, you will enter 0. If you have a mandatory field that is requiring a text information, you would just put N/A in that field. The 2 tabs that I want to note is the eligibility tab and the scholarship selection tab. When you go onto the eligibility tab, you put in your GPA, you put in how many BGCSEs you have or that you will be taking, and you have to save as draft. When you click Save as Draft, the system calculates what you are eligible to select as a scholarship. So if you're a 2024 high school graduate and you put 3.8 as your cumulative GPA, you put that you are taking 9 BGCSEs this year, and you have an SAT score that is at least 1220, or an ACT score that is at least 25. In the scholarship selection tab, you will be qualified to select All Bahamas Merit, Juras, the track and field, the OAS, and the National Tuition Assistance. All of those will become available for you to select. High school students, I'm looking at the applications, and this is what I'm seeing. An applicant has 3.7, which is the minimum requirement for the All Bahamas Merit and the GPA. I went to the scholarship selection tab. That person has only selected track and field. That's all they selected. After the system is telling you, you are eligible for at least 6 awards, the person selected track and field. Parents and applicants and students, the National Scholarship Committee will not be obligated to give that applicant another scholarship because the person chose not to tick them. And it is very, 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 very important, because at the end of the day, you're going to call Minister Martin and say, my child has a 3.7. They got 7 BGCSEs with A's, and they told them they're only giving them the track and field grant. And then minister is going to call the chair, and the chair is going to call Ms. Burrows, and then we have to tell them, and then Ms. Burrows calls one of the team, and then we have to, it's insane, but no, chair, PS getting involved as well, and saying we have to apply with understanding. If you do not tick it, the committee is not obligated to say, oh, he should have ticked it. Oh, they're smart, so let's give it to them. That's not how it's done. You have to complete your application successfully. We also need you to note that if you go back into your application and you change something in your eligibility tab, the system reworks your scholarship selection tab, and you could disqualify yourself for an award. So be careful if juggling back and forth with your application. We also need you to note from the IT part of it, you are asked to upload various documents. We prefer, and the system works easier if you upload PDF documents. Word documents work. However, for those of you with your smartphones, those iPhones, when you scan or take a picture, it is of such a high definition that we tend not to be able to open them, okay? And so you need to make sure that you're not showing off with your fancy device and sending us these crisp looking documents. I'm using my iPhone to do this. It's not helping you if you delay the officers reviewing your application. For those of us who have more than one BGCSE certificate, you can give us everything you have if you do PDF formats. You scan them in using a PDF format. If you try to take a picture, remember, you can only give us one picture. So that's what happens is at the end you say, oh, I have 6, but you only showed us a certificate with 3. So you need to give us the information. How many students think that they can do the application using their phones? Hannah? Oh, that's good. Yes, 3. We recommend that you find a laptop or a desktop to complete your application. We also recommend that you use the Chrome browser when you're opening your application because of the experience of using the different browsers, okay? So we need you, again, to find a laptop or a desktop to complete your application, all right? Now, but yet the last thing on the application is we want you to remember that, one more note, I forgot it. We want you to note that with your application, at the end, you have an acknowledgement tab. The acknowledgement tab tells us that everything we've put here, this is true to the best of my ability. We have had where somebody uploaded their siblings' certificates. People, our officers are vigilant. They do check. And so if you are found to lie, you could disqualify yourself from the award. Okay? So at this time, go back, Ms. Barnes. We're just reminding you of the application documents, a valid passport. If you're in the process of obtaining a passport before the deadline, you should give us a copy. You can give us a copy of your expired passport or the receipt to say that you're applying for your new passport. A valid NIB smart card. Usually you have to apply for one if you don't have a picture on your NIB smart card. For our high school graduates, your SAT or ACT scores, your BGCS results if you have them, the acceptance letters. At this time, before the deadline, you may not receive the acceptance letter from the college of your choice. It doesn't matter. Upload an acceptance letter because if you're successful, the committee allows you to change your school or your major if it's still within the national priority areas. For those that are currently in college, you can give us your degree audit or your degree verification, an I-20 form or student information sheet if it's not a U.S. school. The official transcripts are no longer uploaded to the application. Because of what we experienced last year, we have been instructed that the official transcripts, they're not going to be uploaded to the application this time. And so, for those currently in college and those who have already graduated high school, the deadline for the official transcript is June 1st. For those high school students who are graduating in 2024, the deadline is July 1st. Your official transcripts can be emailed to moescholarships.bahamas@gmail.com. I always switch it around. Say it again.
moebahamasscholarships@gmail.com.
Okay. Your official transcripts can be emailed to that email address. Okay? All right. Say it again, Ms. Butler. Oh, okay. And for those of you who are currently in college, directly from your university to that email, because you shouldn't be handling your official transcripts anyhow. Okay, so for those, it can be emailed from, you tell your institution actually, you tell the school, this is where you're to email my official transcript. Okay? Next. They've given me this task. They're giving me that. What does it say? Come on, let me see if you can read it. No scholarship is guaranteed. All right? If minister gives us $17 million And we had, because she's already told us we have the brightest and best that needs $19 million. You know, so $2 million is not guaranteed. But this is my example. You have two friends in school. Both of them applied and they gave the committee biology as their major. They have a 3.5 GPA, both of them. And they have their 6 or 7 BGCSEs, Bs and above. One gets it, the next one doesn't. They call minister, they call PS, who in turn calls the chair, who in turn calls Ms. Burrows, and then she says, find out what happened. One biology major is major, it has biology as their major because they want to be the best heart surgeon in the country. That is not on our priority list. We don't do medicine via our 8 awards. The medicine is done through the Ministry of Health, through the University of the Bahamas and the University of the West Indies. The other biology major who got the award got it because that is a prerequisite for their forensic science. That is on our national priority area. And so you cannot tell the minister, my child is smart, and this is what they done, you know, where's the scholarship? No scholarship is guaranteed because when we do our research, we go according to the rules and regulations of the Scholarship and Educational Loan Division. Okay? Next slide. At this time, we're going to call back our DPS, Shalane Burrows, and she's going to come and wrap us for us.
Hopefully, after the April 11th deadline and the committee gets the applications, everybody in this room should get up. Amen. Now you've already been approved for a scholarship. However, you have to understand that you have a financial responsibility. So if you received the national tuition assistance, how much is the national tuition assistance valued? $7,500. Some universities cost, $72,000 per annum. If you're going to the University of Miami, that's $72,000 per annum. So you're waiting on your wire transfer to reach the university. There is a process. You will be contacted by your scholarship officer to confirm the school that you're attending, your major, and your anticipated graduation date. So if you're not checking your email and you did not get that notification and you take 2 months to respond, that's a delay. As soon as you respond to your scholarship officer and they confirm that information, you will be given your contract document and verification of funding forms to complete. As soon as you complete that, the process begins. You would have submitted all of your documents. The payment usually takes anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to reach the university. And so we always tell our new applicants, be prepared to pay at least the first semester of your tuition. You're going to college, hopefully you would have accumulated some funds. So we want you to be vigilant and be prepared to pay at least the first semester of your tuition. Even though you may have gotten a full scholarship, I always say there's no such thing as a full scholarship. You need to pay for your plane ticket. You need to get warm clothes. You need to set up your dorms. So you need to have finances to start with, okay? We usually pay via wire transfer instructions. And so once you've been approved, you need to get that information from the university Many of them have that on their website, and so you need to have that ready to send to the scholarship officer once they contact you via email. Okay? Barnett. Many persons say that they can't reach us, that they call the scholarship officer. How many of you have experienced that? You could tell the truth. We have a live chat. Somebody monitors that live chat. So that's another way that you can contact us. We have an email address, moebahamasscholarships@gmail.com. You can always find us. We are located on Shirley Street, opposite Ebenezer Methodist Church, the parking lot. We're in the yellow 2-story building. And I like to say, if you like to eat from the Grill Man, we are just before the Grill Man on Shirley Street. So you can always find us. So there is no excuse. Okay? We are on Facebook for those persons who wish to ask a question. You can type your questions in and we will answer them. And so at this time, we want to open the floor for questions so that we can answer them. Okay, come to the mic, please.
Good night.
Good
My
night.
question. My question is in regards to the PSSP scholarship. I've been trying to get some more information regarding the list of schools that the government is in agreement with, because like you mentioned, different schools have different costs and you need to know what your shortfall would be. I would have received an old list from the school, but every time I call, because I was told, well, the list is going to be updated, that information that I have is dated, because one of the schools that I spoke to, when they gave the shortfall, there's like a $4,000 almost difference between the list that I would have initially received and the current cost. So that affected the decisions, school selection, in terms of where we would have applied to.
Are you able to give us the name of that?
Pardon?
Are you able to give us the name of the university?
That we applied to?
The one that told you a different...
Yes, that was University of Missouri St. Louis.
Okay.
So I wanted to know, is there a listing, an updated listing of the PSSP schools so that we can be able to reevaluate and see if we have to apply to other ones?
Believe it or not, I just updated the list today. So the list of schools and the current tuition, the shortfall, etc., that's what Ms. Burrows has that right there. So we will provide our counselors with that information so that they can disseminate it, or if you want to come by the office, well, we're not there tomorrow, Friday, you can get a copy of it. Or request it by email, we'll send it out to you.
Okay.
UMSL is one of those schools that certainly changed their fee structure at our behest, actually, because what they were listing was not the exact cost. They're one of the few schools that we have partnered with that has something called a differential scheme for fees. So based on the college that you're enrolled in, College of Engineering, for example, is their most expensive college. Those fees, there are some add-on fees to the tuition, and so we've asked them to list exactly what those fees are for each of the colleges that they have. And they've done that for us, so it's a wonderfully extensive list, very thorough, very transparent, so you will know exactly what you have to pay. We have that information.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other PSSP before I ask now? I was a track athlete, so I'd run over there quick. Any further questions from anyone in the room? This is the time. The chair wants to... Did you want to say something, Chair? Oh. Put your bag down.
I just wanted to say good night to you and thank you all for coming. Your attendance here is a demonstration of your commitment to yourself. If you want to do something and do it right, you got to put in the time to understand it, okay? And I want you to, as applicants, as parents, guardians, loved ones of students, I just want to say this. Give the officers, give the division some grace, okay? Because it is an overly simplified process in the minds of people who are applying. And it is an extremely technical process in our understanding of how meticulous it is to work through all of those things. So when I say give them the grace, there's certain timelines that apply between your application and actually getting to the finish line. And so if you're asking questions, if you're following up on things, let's be respectful, okay? When you call, let's try to communicate in a way that fosters a respectful exchange. Sometimes the officers are insulted and rowing and parents. And I know that these scholarships are matters of personal interest because this is about educating your children. But the truth of the matter is these are public funds that no one is entitled to, but the government has made a commitment to educating our people because we recognize and realize that pre-independence, that is what they use to keep us in servitude, our ignorance, right? And so we are people who have come from a history where school was not accessible to us. And now the sky is the limit. Let's understand that, but operate in a parameter of gratitude and not entitlement, okay? I am charged with saying yes and saying no together with, I think, 7 other individuals. But it's not easy to go through these applications and to decide whose future you support and whose future you don't. We don't take it lightly. It is challenging. It is heartbreaking sometimes to say to a student, we can't. Don't think that anyone is being malicious or personal, but we are trying to be fair because we have to be fair. The balance is between our management of public resources, our responsibility to the Bahamian public to give proper account of how these millions of dollars are being spent, and also our consideration of the students and the willingness and commitment of a country to say we don't only want our children to be educated, we're willing to put our money behind that desire. So when you get these scholarships, and you will, many of you will, because you qualify for it, remember this. Everyone has a responsibility. The government's responsibility to you as taxpayers is to put as much funds back into your elevation. Our responsibility to you as a division is to look at each application through the lens of fairness, not politics, not personalities, not any of those things. And I have a problem, and my problem is I'm not scared. And that has been my challenge. And my mom loved me so much that she never used to beat me, but she threatened me. And even in her threats, I used to say, okay, mommy. So my flaw is that I'm not scared. So when you call the minister or this one and they put pressure on me, then my problem arises. I'm not scared. To say no, that's not right. This is right. So forgive me in advance for putting my problem toward every application, because no one is entitled. We will do the best we can for as many as we can. And your obligation to your country, a country who is committed to investing in you, is to come back home. You must, because the future is yours. And how do you access it if you are not present? That's a long way of me saying good night to all of you.
Thank you, Chairman Lyons. She said 3 mouthfuls. Any other questions for the team? Please come to the Center.
My other question is in regards to the amount of scholarship options that you'll be eligible for when the student applies. So let's say there's several, and they have different amounts that's tied to each one. What is, I guess, I'm trying to better understand between if you're going to get, let's say, the national tuition assistance as opposed to one of the other ones as that may have a higher value, to say, even though you may be eligible to apply for more than one, what would determine which one you would receive?
First of all, it's, say you're majoring in marketing and you're going to Spring Hill College, just as an example. Spring Hill would have negotiated with the ministry for $10,000. You will get that if you are eligible and you've met all the criteria. The others will fall away. You could only get one. Now, some of the colleges and universities have what they call stackable scholarships on their end. You can get them if you're an honor student, you're going in as an athlete, you're going in as a band member or something. Some of the colleges and universities allow you to stack those scholarships on top of what the ministry offers.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rule. So if you qualify for, let's say, the All Bahamas Merit, and you also qualify for the National Tuition Assistance, you will not be disadvantaged. You will get the highest award that you can get once you qualify.
Thank you.
Okay? Any other questions?
Good night, everyone. As my son was applying for the PSSP, on the college selection, we noticed that there was University of Missouri, but it didn't say University of Missouri St. Louis.
Okay.
Now, we typed in the other section, University of Missouri St. Louis, but at the bottom it said non-partnering school.
Okay, it is. The application says University of Missouri. It is supposed to say St. Louis. So that is the school that we have the agreement with. So once you put University of Missouri, and we see the acceptance letter from the University of Missouri St. Louis, right, we know that that is the correct school.
Okay, so the non-partnering part, y'all will deal with that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Again, the agreement is with UMSL, University of Missouri St. Louis. And your acceptance letter will say that. You can go ahead.
Good night.
Good night.
I think I have a two-part question.
Okay.
When applying for the scholarship, let's say, God forbid, something happens. You're accepted at the school, but you're not able to go for September. But you're able to get everything in line to go for January. Are you still going to receive the scholarship, or will you lose the scholarship?
You will not lose the scholarship. You can write in. You will be communicating with your scholarship officer, and you will request a deferment for one semester. So you will now become a spring recipient.
So if your intention is to go and begin in the spring, can you still apply now, or should you wait?
You have to apply now because scholarships are offered once per year.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? We are also answering them via the live stream. So if you're out there and you have questions, you can type them and we'll answer. Don't be shy. P.S. There are no more questions. P.S. Can you close us out, please, with a word?
Okay, good evening to all, and Of course, I want to recognize the very hard-working team from scholarships, and I know I should stress them out because I'm one of the persons who would call, and people have a right to inquire. If you say, I feel I was disadvantaged or I feel something was not taken into account, you're all Bahamians, you have a right to ask the question, and I have an obligation to follow up on that query. So I want to say thank you to all of you for coming out and having the interest. I want to say thank you once again to this wonderful division led by, of course, by Chairman and Ms. Shalene Burrows. Very hardworking, and all the team that's outstanding, but I know I stress out the most. So I want to say thank you to all of them. And I just want to encourage you all to have your children apply, and don't be discouraged, don't be disillusioned. There's always another opportunity there, but we do our best to ensure that we don't have enough money, as it's been said, to give to everybody who qualifies, and that's the disheartening part. A lot of parents say, but my child had the 3.00 and they had the 5 BGCSEs, but you cannot give to everybody, and they're the national priority areas, and those change from time to time. When you're going to change those again? You're looking at them now, eh? Yeah, so they're reviewing them now. And of course, the identification of national priorities are not Ms. Burrows and Ms. Lyons sitting down and determining. There's widespread consultation throughout the country as to what is considered these priority areas. And so they change from time to time. And of course, the general policy is, and I'm sure this was said, if the subject is offered at University of the Bahamas, then the thinking is you should stay here and take the study, or at BTVI. The encouragement is to encourage persons to study at home first and then perhaps study abroad. But I understand that people want to get the exposure. So I congratulate all of you for having the interest. I wish you all the very best. And I just want to say there's no partisanship. Everybody wants to help as many Bahamian students as we can. And there's nobody sitting down saying, I can help my first cousin, that sort of thing. It's nothing like that. It's very professionally done. And these are hardworking people who, during the scholarship cycle, I don't know when they sleep. So I want to say thank you to them. Kudos to them. Thank you for the media who came out. And good luck to all of you. God bless.
Thank you, PS. I just wish to add that if you're applying for scholarship, please use a professional email. And we like to say use your first name, last name. ShalaneBurrows@gmail.com, and not Sex on the City or something. And we've seen everything. And after you have applied, check your emails regularly. Check your emails. Parents, try not to use your email addresses. We've had instances where parents have actually completed the application form, use their information rather than the student's information. Okay? So I wish you a good night. It's been a good time, and hopefully you have gotten all of the information that you need to successfully complete the scholarship application form. Good night.